G'day guys. I don't know, you're probably sick of me mucking around with 6,000s and 7,000s and stuff. I've got a good one for you. This is a good experiment for you. I've got that's old no ears, the GPX 4500, sitting there running normal timings, and you can probably see I've got an extra wire on its coil feed wire, that yellow thing. You go, what the hell's that doing? Well, having a bit of a think about all this, when you get into a pattern of deep thought and you think to yourself, hang on a second. Dear me. Yeah, voice is coming back, but it's still a bit, but no big deal. So I've got this hooked up on Ye up there, cancel coil. But you have a look how I've got this configured. This will probably make you scratch your heads. If I get up there, I think that's probably high enough. There we go. I better lock this in or else it'll go smashing down. Okay, got it. This will just do for a test. I don't know if you can hear this detector. I've got it cranked up actually. That's quiet as a mouse. Yeah, there you go. That's the booster flat out. That's how it's going. But if you have a look, dear me, come on, voice, keep working. Jeez. Yeah, feel a bit like need a dose of whiskey again or something. Anyway, we like 0.05, same as what we did on the 6,000, right? It's much the same, and I don't know if you can hear that because yeah, it's just quiet. The detector's running quiet. Getting up around about 6.5 or 7, it runs out. I can run more gain on this, but I'm trying to make it a fair contest. Hang on, we'll crank the gain up a bit. Okay, 10 years later, oh, it might be a bit too much. But that's how much noise that 6 is making. Very similar. Maybe this is cranked up a little bit too much, maybe. Now we'll crank it down a bit. Behave. It's probably very equivalent now, something like that anyway. I reckon it's on par for 6. Can't really see any difference. Hot rocks. I better put it in ground balance. That would help, wouldn't it? Where are we? No, not wrong one. That one. Tracking. Hope I'm quick enough. Tracks out perfect. That was me banging the coil. Ferrites. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Ferrite. Iron core. Iron core. What happens is when you go over it with an iron core and then these, ground balance will track out because I left it in tracking. Yeah, I think I've probably got to hit the tracking switch again. It's getting a lot of AC line interference. There we go. Let's do that. Yeah, that fixed it. When you get interference, I might turn it back a bit too. Okay. I've cranked it back. We'll shut it up a bit. Yeah, so anyway, it's at night now, so not really night, but 5:30. That's when all the TVs go on and everything, and we get noise. But with this, oh dear me. As soon as I start making a video, the voice disappears. Now I'll turn this off and I'll show you what I've done, so you get a gist of it. And any of you guys out there who want to do experiments, you can do experiments with this. Normally, you'll have, better get behind the camera because I don't know where I'm pointing. Normally, I'll try and get beside the camera and stick my head around. You'll have one end of your winding in the coil and the other end, and the shield usually connects to here, okay, on the outer braid. The shield just goes there. What I've done, the shield's not connected there. See that? I've put it on a separate wire. There is no shielding to this point whatsoever. And I just wound it round like so, and I'll show you what I've done on the other end. I've disconnected the internal case connection inside the detector. So the internal ground point in the detector is gone. And what I've done, as you can see on here, I just clamped. It's actually stripped, but the metal of the wire, the inner, is just clamped to the shell. So when you screw it onto your detector, it makes a ground point. And dear me, oh dear, hang on a second. I've got to get rid of this croakiness. It's driving me nuts. Come on, disappear. That's better. Yeah, I've just connected the wire to there. You could connect this to the detector itself, but with a little lead wire coming out and a little push on, clip, clip, done. But that's easy enough if you do it on your coils. But what I found, it's very similar to how the 6 is done. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. So I said, why not give it a go? So that's on a cancel call. It'll work the same on a mono. I've already tried it, by the way. And I put it back on the cancel because of get rid of the noise as best I can. I mean, poor old thing's getting a little bit deformed, but it's still working. So any of you guys out there want to experiment, that's how I would experiment and just see how it goes. But you do need an earth point somewhere, and I've on that extra wire to the detector. I think that it's actually, I've got to think about this because I was thinking about how I used to do transmission lines years and years ago, and make it an unbalanced transmission line, and that in itself should, if it's into the detector as such, where it goes on the coil connections, that should help alleviate noise and bringing a separate ground point to the case rather than on the braid. Not completely technically correct, but I think it's getting close. If I really wanted to do it properly, I'd run a transmission line, but I've got to use the braided stuff. I've done it before. I've done heaps of stuff like this, and it does work. But this is, if you want to experiment, if you want to do it on an existing coil, you're going to have to, cut the coil open, and where the braid has its earth wire connected to the shield, however the shield's done, it's little bits of wire onto the ticky-tacky paint or whatever. Just disconnect that from the braid and put it on a separate wire, and just bring it out and just twist it around the cable like I've done, and try it, just see. Or better still, have two identical coils and do the same trick with both. So just see which one works best. But I do think doing that actually does alleviate some of the noise. I had this thing here, that thing there, crank right up, more or less. It wasn't right up. I'll tell you what it was on, because this one's got the variable gain in the detector. So if we go at that, Aaron, yeah, it was about 9 out of 10. It was quite well up. But anyway, this now has basically the very, very old modifications in it. I've been working on new stuff, and what we're doing now, instead of having any extra knobs or buttons or anything like that, we are not putting any extra. Look, you do, but you don't. Hang on, this is going to be hard. If you're a real hardcore prospector, right? Whoops. You want to push your detector over like that, not. If you're a real hardcore prospector, yeah, variable gain around the input stage is beneficial, but I've come up with a way of having, what do I call it? It's not variable gain, but it is controlled gain. It works on a servo loop. I don't mean servo as in service station, but basically it means the output is going back onto the input and causing negative feedback in a particular way. It's done to control the gain. So it's got to be done with filters and things. Anyway, we can now do them they just look like normal detector. No one will know. So that's what we've been doing lately. And I wish I had one here to fire up, but yes, I don't think I've got. I haven't even put it in the 5,000 I've got down there, but I will. I'll put it in that. The other one's out getting tested. So sometimes I use people, just go out and test it and tell me what you think, and hopefully not getting rained on. But yeah, that's where we're at. So that's a good experiment to do with your coils anyway, guys, if you want to play around. Come on, voice, come back. So on here, you can do this as well. I'll give you some other ideas what you can do. Where it's a hard connect here onto that wire which goes to the outside shielding, you could put a small value resistor there as well to unload it a little bit. You could try 10 ohms, 50 ohms, 100 ohms. Try it. I haven't done it. It might be beneficial, but you need to try it out in the field. Try it on bad ground. Try it where you get a lot of EMI as well. But it just might be something to experiment with. Like I said, this one here, there is no connection to the braid on the coil. And I'll just show you how good it is. You don't get any capacitive effects or anything like that either. I better fire it up and show you that. Plug that back in. You got to remember, I can't cheat now and not screw the coil in properly, because that's my ground return. So there we go. Oops. How do I put power in? There we go. Turn on. Away we go. Now, that's right. I turned the gain flat out, didn't I? Yeah. I left it flat out. How I turn the gain down a bit. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Gain's about, I don't know, 8 out of 10 or something. But normally when you touch a coil, if there's any problems in the grounding or shielding, you'll do that, it'll sound off. I've got no rings on, just make sure. But yeah, like you've got metal things in the drawers again. But basically, get rid of all the ferrites and irons, and yeah, I'm actually hang on a sec. I've got to do this properly, else it's going to wiggle at the joins and it's going to go crazy. Actually, I should have put some iron powder type cores over there. It doesn't like me touching it, obviously. There we go. It tries to pull itself off the table. So let me have a look. Yep, that's okay. So there we go. That's better. If this bends here, it's going to go nuts. So, I don't know why it was sounding off. I had my little lead target there. Which, hang on. Go over there. Yeah. Yeah, a little lead target was there. So every time I was touching it, it was going crazy. Now it's over there near the other things. But yeah, that's perfectly shielded. If I disconnected that yellow wire, it'd go completely bonkers. But yeah, it might be something worth playing with. And having a look. This is massively deformed now because I've been mucking around with it. So I'll bend it back how it should be. Yeah, it wants to be springy, but anyway, that's basically how it is. And when you get it perfectly symmetrical, it's very, very quiet. So, you know, 0.05, 0.1, blow your ears off. Yeah, I thought, why not? Guys, if you want to play with stuff like this, you can do it. Just bust open an old mono you got kicking around you don't use anymore and play with it. You could probably do it for double D as well. It might be a bit more tricky, but it seems to work on this okay. I haven't even done a damn frequency scan on this to put on a quiet spot. Everything is just, yeah, on that thing there, it's just cranked up. And yeah, maybe I'll do that. How about we do that? We'll just, I'll just let it run around to see how quiet it gets. It's going for the higher numbers now. Let's see where we're getting to. No, nearly there. There we are, we're there. Well, that's better. I had it on a nasty piece, a nasty frequency or timing, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, that's a lot better. So, yeah. Back onto this. Like I say, there's not much in it between all these detectors. Fringe detection is much the same on any of them. It's, yeah, there's not much in it at all. And size-wise, I wish I can find that really tiny one I've got. I don't know where it's gone. It's on a bit of plastic tube somewhere. But yeah, have a play and see what you can do. You're only going to learn by playing around with stuff. Just don't blow your detector front end out. But I mean, it's safe to do if you do it the same way I've done. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to work. So that's that. All good. That's enough. I'm going to give my voice a rest. I'm going to give it a bit of alcohol. For some reason, it does. It makes it come good a little bit. But if I keep talking, I'll lose it. Anyway, catches.